No mai haere mai ki te o tēnei whakaherehera nei, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou katoa. Talofa lava, e mātua malo, le soifua, awhia mai. Warm greetings tonight to this very special occasion. And now you're all starting to get a bit of a sense of what my day-to-day is, having to work with someone like Mr. Barclay. You've got to do your best, don't you? 2023 has been a fast-paced, high-achieving year for us all at St Thomas's. Our kura is placed to offer the best of opportunities for our students across the academics, culture and across sporting pursuits. Tonight we will celebrate the achievements of our young men. I'd like to congratulate all of those acknowledged tonight. Alongside individual accomplishments, we have had some fantastic school-wide accomplishments. We started the year with the news of fantastic NCA results, particularly the 71% university entrance pass rate, which was the highest pass rate for boys in state and state integrated schools in Christchurch. Wonderful reward for both students and staff. We're well placed to emulate these academic results again. As the year progressed, we've seen a Bishop Lions Shield victory, the first in 15 years, a first-time senior Canterbury basketball title, a National Rugby League title, National Athletic and National Dance titles. The achievements have come thick and fast in 2023, and these are only to name but a few. We're incredibly proud of all of our students and staff and all that they accomplish. I have noticed an increase in expectation and work ethic to achieve amongst our school community. This has recently had me reflecting on our why. Recently I read a poem. It epitomises what we're all trying to achieve here at St Thomas's. It is titled Unity by Ray Lingenfelter. I dreamed I stood in a studio and watched two sculptors there. The clay they used was a young child's mind, and they fashioned it with care. One was a teacher, and the tools she used were books, music and art. One was a parent with a guiding hand and a gentle, loving heart. When at last their work was done, they were proud of what they had wrought, for the things that they had worked into the child could never be sold or bought. And each agreed she would have failed if she had worked alone, for behind the parent stood the school, and behind the teacher stood the home. I'm in no doubt that the most important relationship is the one between our school and the family homes that make up our community. Educating the hearts and minds of our young men is at the forefront of what we do. The achievements or outcomes are byproducts of the holistic work we all do together. I often speak to our young men at St Thomas's and ask them who are their heroes, role models, etc. Often it's a sports star, an older student, or sometimes a parent. One person I admire that epitomises all of what we're trying to achieve as educators and educating the whole student is Brother Bill Dowling. Bill, who himself is inspired by our founder Edmund Rice, has lived a life of service, a life of giving to others, to developing young people. I often imagine and wonder what it was like for Bill as a very young man arriving to some bare land with one building in Sockburn, with such limited living conditions that he had to live in a caravan, all because he was called upon to educate the hearts and minds of young men at a brand new school back in 1961. St Thomas of Canterbury College is your legacy, Bill. You have given 30 years of service to the young men of St Thomas's, alongside another 15 years to the young people of Tanzania. Brother Bill is a role model to us all. We live in a world where we are flooded with an overwhelming level of messaging that the individual comes first, that material accumulation is the most important goal, that individual accomplishment is all that matters. Brother Bill, you're a reminder to us all of what is important. You have lived a life inspired by Jesus. Your humility and understanding of the power of relationship is something I can only hope to emulate. We live in a world that has described loneliness as one of the biggest pandemics of our time. And the answer is sitting here amongst us tonight. We need to live in communities. We need to unconditionally care for each other in our communities. We need to serve unconditionally. For when we understand that this world isn't about the me, but the we, our world becomes easier to understand. We see heartbreaking issues at a global and local level involving war, famine, disease, crime and poverty. Sometimes this can seem overwhelming, but we can be the problem solvers in the way we live our life, the way we educate, the way we parent, and the way we connect with each other. The answer is in front of us, in role models like Brother Bill. I've spent the last month interviewing our students alongside a number of other staff that are about to start at St Thomas's. I asked them the same question: why have you chosen our school? Every single student gave me similar answers. It is how the students and teachers interact with each other. It is watching older students playing handball with juniors. It is the way our students greet visitors to our school. It is the never-ending involvement of our parents supporting their sons. And most importantly, it is understanding that we aren't a school. We are a community of people. No one is more or less important than anyone. We are simply trying to bring out the best in each other. This is how I know that the legacy of our role models is living in action. I'd like to acknowledge some key people and groups that have contributed so much this year. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our Christian brothers, Brother John and Brother Bill. Thank you so much for your legacy. I hope we can do it justice. Thank you for the trust you've imparted on our teaching staff to keep the Edmund Rice story, inspired by Jesus Christ, alive and in action within our young men. I feel honoured to be part of your legacy. I'd like to acknowledge the leadership of our senior leadership team: Mr. Brendan Biggs, Mr. Hamish Barclay, Mr. Andrew Amatangi, Mr. Hamish McCombie, Mr. Stephen Kennedy, Mr. Daniel O'Brien, Mr. Paul Burden and Mr. Mark Hammond. Our community is very fortunate to have you leading our school into the future. You're incredibly hard-working, innovative, and have an absolute understanding of our mission. I thank you for your patience and the passion you share for our school, and most importantly, your sense of humour. I'd also like to thank our staff for all that they do in the development of our students. We're very lucky to have a hard-working group of staff that understand we are more than an 8:30 to 2:30 school. Our staff understand that by coaching and mentoring, tutoring, travelling, and the many pastoral care helps develop the whole person. We are unique to have so many staff make themselves available to work with our students in so many different settings, well into the evenings and throughout the weekends. I'd like to personally thank the support and dedication of Joe Fitzgerald, who I work closely alongside as the Principal's PA. Thank you, Joe, for making sense of my working week. I do not know how you do it. I'd also like to acknowledge the hard work of our Board of Trustees, which is well led by Andy Steele. We are so fortunate to have a hard-working board that represents our community so well and truly understands the mission of an Edmund Rice School. I thank our board for their passion in wanting our school to deliver a world-class education and experience. Our PFA has worked tirelessly all year, including tonight, and they will after tonight, raising much-needed funds to contribute towards the facilities here at St Thomas's. Schools continue to be underfunded, and without the much-needed support from our hard-working parents on the PFA, our boys would be without much. I'd also like to acknowledge our parent community. It is not an easy job raising teenagers in the 21st century, especially with the many complexities we are confronted with that are often changing year to year. Our students are so fortunate to have a group of parents and caregivers that are hopeful of their sons experiencing as much of life as possible, whether it be supporting their sons through mentoring days, evening events, fundraising, transportation, feeding them, the list goes on and on. but it's fantastic to work in an environment whereby we are all working together to raise good young men that are able to fulfil their potential. Finally, I would like to thank my family who give me so much in support of the role I have at St Thomas's. You understand that I am called to serve. This means time away from you. You support this, and thank you. I want to personally acknowledge the contribution of our Year 13 students. You're a very special group. In your schooling years, you have dealt with earthquakes and aftershocks, moving houses to be repaired, terrorist attacks, global pandemics. During your time at St Thomas's, you've seen so much change. Curriculums, change and success across both the arts and sport. Your experiences are like no other. The skills and character you have learned will hold you in such a high place as you venture out into the world. You've learned resilience, you've learned to be strategic, but most importantly, and don't ever forget this, gentlemen, you've learned to ask for help when you need it. Take this with you wherever you may go into the future. And I want you to listen to these words carefully, men. Year 13s, be men of Edmund. Be a voice for those without one. Have the courage and conviction to stand up when called upon. It has been a blessing watching you on your journey. All the highs and lows along the way are the experiences that have come together to form you into the men you have become. You have each in your own way left a legacy for those to follow. Let the seeds that have been planted here at St Thomas's blossom and grow. Go leave your mark on this world. I feel honoured and privileged to work alongside everyone that makes up our community. The students, staff and parents, I feel grateful and blessed to walk alongside our young men each day. The future is full of uncertainty, and no doubt we have some rocky times ahead. But my challenge to us all is to ask ourselves this question: how do I live a life of service? How do I give to others? How can I be a good friend? I challenge us all to be countercultural by asking ourselves, how can I contribute to our community, rather than what can I take from my community? If we all do this, I know our world will be a better place, and we can all live in the hope of a better future. Whawhatai lava, e mamwea, e awhi safua, kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawanua, nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you.